Get your ghetto ass away from here. This is for real people. Officer Marcus Webb's words slice through the morning air as he confronts a black woman in an expensive business suit outside the courthouse. Before she can respond, he grabs her arm. "Officer, I belong here," Amelia Richardson begins, calmly. "Like hell you do." Webb signals his partner with a sharp whistle. "Collins, help me remove this trash." Both officers seize her arms and drag her backward across the concrete. Her leather briefcase scrapes against the ground as her heels struggle for grip. Courthouse employees freeze in doorways, phones already recording as they watch a professionally dressed woman being hauled away like a criminal. Amelia doesn't fight back. She doesn't scream. She simply maintains her dignity as two grown men treat her like garbage in front of the very building where justice is supposed to live. The courtroom feels heavy with tension as Officer Marcus Webb adjusts his uniform and takes the witness stand. His lawyer, a sharp-suited man named Thompson, approaches with the confidence of someone who's defended plenty of cops before. "Officer Webb, can you tell the court about your experience and training?" Thompson begins. Webb straightens up, his chest puffed with pride. 15 years with courthouse security, sir. I've worked the night shift, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., for the past decade. I know every inch of this building, every protocol, every potential threat. "And on the morning in question, were you working your regular shift?" "No, sir. Officer Martinez called in sick with food poisoning. I was asked to cover the morning shift as an emergency replacement." Webb's voice carries the tone of a man doing everyone a favor. "I've only worked mornings maybe 5 times in my entire career." Thompson nods sympathetically. "So you weren't familiar with the daytime personnel and routines?" "Exactly. The night shift is different. We deal with cleaning crews, maintenance, and emergency repairs. During the day, you've got all these lawyers, clerks, judges coming and going. I don't know their faces because I'm usually heading home when they're arriving." Webb shifts in his seat, warming to his story. "Now, I've seen maybe 2 black judges in my 15 years here. Both older gentlemen, Judge Washington and Judge Freeman. But this woman?" He shakes his head dismissively. "She didn't look like any judge I had ever seen." "Describe what you observed that morning." "Around 6:45 a.m., I see this woman approaching the restricted entrance. That's the judge's only access point. She's dressed nice enough, I'll give her that, but something felt off." Webb's eyes narrow as he recalls the scene. "In my experience, people who belong somewhere don't hesitate. They don't look around nervously. They don't act evasive. And this woman was acting evasive." "Oh, absolutely. When I approached her and explained she couldn't use that entrance, she got defensive immediately, started making demands, claiming she belonged there. That's exactly what troublemakers say when they're trying to talk their way into places they don't belong." Thompson walks closer to the jury box. "What happened next?" Webb leans forward, his voice taking on a more serious tone. "She became increasingly agitated and resistant, kept insisting she had business in the restricted area, but couldn't provide proper identification or authorization. In my 15 years of experience, that's a major red flag." "Did you attempt to verify her identity?" "Of course I did. I asked for a courthouse ID, judicial credentials, anything to prove she belonged there. She couldn't provide any of it." Webb spreads his hands as if the conclusion is obvious. "Look, I don't make assumptions based on appearance. I go by protocol. No ID, no access. Period." "What about the physical removal?" Webb's expression grows stern. "The woman refused multiple lawful orders to leave the restricted area. She was becoming disruptive, raising her voice, attracting attention from other early arrivals. I called for backup because the situation was escalating." And Officer Collins responded. "That's right. Collins has been my partner for 3 years. He can confirm everything I'm saying. When someone refuses lawful orders and becomes non-compliant, we have to escort them from the premises. It's standard security protocol for maintaining order and safety." Thompson pauses dramatically. "Officer Webb, did you use excessive force?" "Absolutely not. We used the minimum force necessary to remove a non-compliant individual from a restricted area. She was escorted, not brutalized, to the public area where she belonged." Webb's voice carries righteous indignation. "We followed every protocol in the book." "Why didn't you simply call the courthouse administration to verify her identity?" Webb looks genuinely puzzled by the question. "Sir, at 6:45 in the morning, administration isn't open yet. The building is operating on minimal security staff. If everyone who claimed they belong somewhere could just demand we call around and verify their stories, we'd never maintain proper security. In your professional opinion, did you handle this situation appropriately?" "Without question. I protected courthouse security, followed established protocols, and treated the individual with the same professional standards I applied to everyone. Webb's voice grows more confident. I've handled hundreds of similar situations over 15 years. This was textbook crowd control. But then defense attorney Sarah Carter stands for cross-examination, and Webb's confident demeanor flickers slightly. Officer Webb, you mentioned you've worked nights for a decade. When was the last time you familiarized yourself with daytime judicial personnel? Webb hesitates. Well, that's not typically part of my responsibilities. So you wouldn't know if new judges had been appointed recently. The night shift doesn't get briefed on administrative changes unless it affects our specific duties. Chen pulls out a document. Are you aware that Judge Amelia Richardson was officially appointed to this courthouse 3 weeks ago? Webb's face tightens. I wasn't informed of that. No. Wouldn't checking personnel rosters be part of basic security protocol? We have our assigned areas and responsibilities. I will focus on my job. Your job is to recognize authorized personnel. Correct? The confidence is draining from Webb's voice. Within my normal scope of duties, yes. And yet you made no effort to verify whether Miss Richardson might be authorized personnel before physically removing her. Webb's jaw clenches. She didn't present proper identification. Did you ask what type of identification she carried? A long pause. She should have known to present courthouse credentials. That's not what I asked. Officer Webb, did you specifically ask what identification she carried? Another pause, longer this time. I followed standard protocol. Chen sets down her papers. Officer Webb, in 15 years of experience, how many times have you physically removed someone from courthouse premises? Webb shifts uncomfortably. I don't keep exact counts. Approximately maybe 15, 20 times. And how many of those individuals were Black women in professional attire? Thompson objects, but the damage is visible on Webb's face. The confident officer who began his testimony now looks like a man realizing his story has holes he hadn't considered. Chen continues relentlessly. You testified that you don't make assumptions based on appearance, but isn't it true that you immediately assumed Miss Richardson didn't belong based solely on seeing her approaching the entrance? I observed suspicious behavior. What behavior? Walking toward a door? Webb's voice rises defensively. She looked out of place. Out of place how? The courtroom falls silent as Webb realizes he's just contradicted his own testimony about not making appearance-based assumptions. His face reddens as he struggles to find an answer that doesn't sound exactly like what it is. Racial profiling with a badge. I use my professional judgment based on 15 years of experience. But the damage is done. The confident officer has become a man whose story is unraveling thread by thread, and everyone in the courtroom can see it happening in real time. Amelia Richardson rises from her seat with a grace that commands attention. She moves to the witness stand not like someone seeking justice, but like someone who belongs in this courtroom in ways the audience doesn't yet understand. Her voice when she speaks carries a measured cadence of someone intimately familiar with legal proceedings. Please state your name for the record, Attorney Carter begins. Amelia Catherine Richardson. Her voice is clear, professional, unshaken by the morning's events. Miss Richardson, can you tell the court about your morning routine on the day in question? Amelia adjusts her posture slightly, her hands folded calmly in her lap. I arrived at the courthouse at approximately 6:45 a.m., as is my usual practice. I prefer to arrive early to review my morning preparation and ensure everything is properly organized for the day ahead. Your morning preparation. Yes, I have specific procedures I follow before beginning my daily responsibilities. It requires quiet time to review case materials, check scheduling, and mentally prepare for the tasks ahead. The way she speaks about procedures and scheduling suggests someone with significant authority over their own agenda. And why did you choose to use the main entrance that morning instead of other entrances? Amelia's expression shows a flicker of frustration, quickly controlled. The electronic access system was malfunctioning. My usual entry point wasn't operational, so I was forced to use the main entrance. It was inconvenient, but I assumed it would be a minor delay. Your usual entry point. Yes, I typically use a more private access route that allows me to reach my work area without navigating through the public areas of the building. She pauses meaningfully.
Privacy and efficiency are important when you have significant responsibilities. Chen walks closer to the witness stand. Describe your interaction with Officer Webb. Amelia's composure never wavers, but her voice carries subtle steel. Officer Webb approached me with immediate hostility. Before I could explain my presence, he made degrading assumptions about why I was there. His language was not just unprofessional, it was deliberately dehumanizing. Can you be more specific? He called me ghetto trash and told me to find the welfare office. When I attempted to explain that I belonged there, he became increasingly agitated and resistant, started making demands, claiming she belonged there. Amelia's tone remains controlled, but the hurt is audible beneath the professionalism. Officer Webb never asked for my identification. He never inquired about my purpose. He simply decided based on looking at me that I had no legitimate reason to be there. What happened when you tried